Hello and welcome to this video. If we are just meeting, my name is Tassos Koidis and I'm a lecturer in Food Science and Nutrition at Queen's University Belfast. Follow this channel to learn more about food science, nutrition, improve food choices and ultimately improve your health. Today it's all about food labels, so let's go. You see the packaging of the food, the colors, the photographs, they're all designed to tempt you to make a purchase. But do you know what else is very important when it comes to our nutrition? The food labels. My aim with this video is to help you make sense of the food labels, make better choices when it comes to your everyday shopping, and meet your goals, whether it is to eat healthier or lose weight. All food sold pre-pack must have labels, of course, and if the food is imported, it must be translated to the local language. So if you do see any weird foreign language in the pack, just don't buy it. The labels must contain these things: the name of the food, the best before or use by date, any necessary warnings such as keep frozen for example, the net quantity in grams, the list of ingredients, of course if there are more than one, the country of origin, other things such as the name of the food manufacturer, the lot number maybe, any special storage condition, any structure for use. Food labels vary according to the country that you live. I live here in the UK. The EU has very similar labeling legislation, and I know that US and Australia have slight variations in their regulations. Hit me up in the comments down below if you want a dedicated video on the differences of food labeling requirements across the globe. Here in the UK we have a secondary material for labeling which is called front of pack labeling, which is based in the traffic light system. It's very interesting, I must say, but for the interest of time, let's not go into this one in this video. Again, special requests in the comments below. Today we will focus on the side of the pack and on the back of the pack, and we will get into two things. One, the ingredients list, and in the second video, because this is a series, the nutritional table. But in this video we will focus on the ingredients list. Overall, the idea in the list is to eat real foods that have minimal processing, or as I say, minimal baggage in terms of their makeup, their composition, and also in terms of their manufacturing. This will be reflected, of course, in the list of ingredients. The smaller the list, the better. And within that list, if you go and read one by one, it shouldn't sound too unfamiliar. In fact, the trend now is what we call a clean label, which in essence is to use ingredients that are familiar to you, and maybe you can have them even in your food cupboard. Of course, let's be realistic for a second, this is not fully possible at all times. There are always going to be processed foods that would require some compounds to act as stabilizers and as preservatives. And mind you, this is not a channel to demonize e-numbers and ingredients that just because we don't know what they are. That is ignorance. And in some channels, Dr. Berg, I'm looking at you, they do that for the views. Okay, but we're not going to do that here. Because some of them actually, they are extracted from natural sources. Sodium alginate is a stabilizer and keeps the structure of the food. It's an E401 compound extracted from brown seaweeds. It is used as stabilizer in things like ice cream, yogurt, cream, cheese. Let's not react negatively just because we don't know, for example, what dextrose is or what citric acid is. Okay, and hopefully within this channel, if you allow me, I would like to offer to teach you in a few basic things that could help you make healthier food choices. Now, the order matters, of course, in the ingredients list. For example, if you see sugar as a second ingredient, possibly what you're about to eat is not that healthy. This sweet microwavable popcorn. Look the label. It's nice, isn't it? Who doesn't like popcorn? The sugar, it's actually the second most prevalent ingredient. So maybe not a great choice overall. Make your own popcorn, buy the seeds, let them in a casserole with high heat and a tiny bit of oil, and they will pop and they will be delicious. They're not going to be as oily or as sweet, but I guess that's the idea, no? Let's see in detail some other ingredients that are maybe red flags. Starting from, as we said before, high sugar. I don't know if you know this, but usually when we say sugar, we mean table sugar that we have in our cupboards. But in processed foods, sugar can come in many forms. For For example, fructose, glucose, fructose syrup and glucose syrup is a few things. So more information about this is actually broken down in the nutritional table, which is going to be in the second video. That's why it's important to take this into account. Next is fat, and especially the sources of fat, because back in the day it used to be just vegetable oils, but now the manufacturers, they have to make a distinction between what type of vegetable oil it is. I mean, what type of sunflower it is. Is it refined sunflower? Is it rapeseed? Is it soya bean? Also, in some foods, for example, salad dips, creamy cheese, hazelnut paste, crisps, cakes, be aware of the fat content, even if it's not appearing early on in the ingredients list. Here, I would like to introduce you to the concept of portion. In a yogurt, the fat it may be only 10%, so maybe not the first in the order of ingredients, but let's say you eat 200 grams in one go as a portion. Compare this with a fatty food like Nutella with 40% fat, but you may only eat a tablespoon. So you will get overall less fat and less calories than the full fat strained yogurt. Now let's see allergens. Over there you will see things in bold, and this will be one of the 14 allergens here in the UK. This will be the likes of wheat, milk, tree nuts. This will be highlighted in the list so that food-sensitive consumers can be alerted before they can make a purchase. If you want to learn more about food allergies and other sensitivities in general, I have a bunch of videos in these topics. Links will be down below and up here in the card. The manufacturers, they know that people are alienated by the old e-numbers, and they have completely phased out this type of labeling and this type of language, and now it's more refined. Take Doritos, for example. They use the word flavor enhancers, and under parentheses they will have the weird chemical, and in this case it is the slightly addictive chemical called monosodium glutamate, or MSG, which gives you the well-sought umami flavor. Like this video to get a specific video about monosodium glutamate, and it will be quite controversial, I promise. For those of you who know, products like Doritos cannot happen without actually these ingredients. There are two reasons. One is that people will not like them and will not buy them, and two, even if they buy them, they wouldn't have a good shelf life. It will be something like maybe a couple of days or 7 days, and then the product will go bad. So we're actually contributing now to food waste, which is another big issue. Keepability is very important when it comes to food. Lastly, we have the usual suspects, the sweeteners. This will be towards the end of the ingredients list. Most of them, they will have an E number, but since, as we said, people don't use it, we end up with names such as sucralose, aspartame, stevia, xylitol maybe. Most of them are artificial sweeteners, except for stevia, which comes from a plant. Take Coca-Cola Zero. It has carbonated water, color, an acid, sweeteners, aspartame and acetyl sulfame K, and I know that's just a sugary water with some plant extracts, but when you look at the label, it contains the world's top 2 sweeteners. The same is with the Muller toffee yogurt. Here is the ingredients list. Yogurt, water, modified maize starch, flavorings, colorant, salt, and for stabilizers they use pectin. They provide the word sweeteners, and again followed by aspartame and acetyl sulfate. Are these sweeteners good for you? In general terms, that's the topic of another video. Subscribe for more content around food and nutrition to be a more informed and a healthier eater. Let's look at the miscellaneous ingredients, including some borderline creepy stuff. In the label I showed you before, we see modified maize starch, which describes a treatment of cornstarch to make it more functional for the properties that the manufacturer is going for when we are designing a product. The same label we see pectins. What are pectins? They're natural products as part of the cell wall of all plant. When pectins are added in foods, they are thickening the food. Think about for a second what corn flour does when you add it in your dish. It's a stabilizer and it helps with the food structure. Now I'm looking at the Cadbury Flake Milk Chocolate dessert. It's very popular here in the UK. We have tackled pectin before. Let's see now another number. And this has truly a bad name. E442 ammonium phosphatide. It's a synthetic material. None of those are necessarily bad for you. And if somebody's arguing with you constantly against synthetic food ingredients, I would have to ask them, have you ever taken a medicine before? Because medicines, let's say paracetamol, they always have some artificial ingredients synthesized in the lab that they will give you in a pure form in a medicine. And they're usually going to resemble a plant material, but they will be purified in the lab and they will be synthetically produced for the medicine. The same sometimes goes with food. And if the toxicity is checked, then it shouldn't be nice to demonize synthetic ingredients just because they are synthetic and they are not natural. It's a very absolute mindset towards natural ingredients all the time, and without ever reasoning and without proper researching what it will be. Another ingredient is pork gelatin. Simply put, is a protein from pork meat. And the truth is that we eat gelatin all the time in food gels. Think about Gel-O, desserts, candies, bakery products sometimes, jellied meat, ice cream and other dairy products. After all of this, I'm arriving to the point of this video. There are not good things and bad things. There are not good ingredients and bad ingredients. There are some ballpark rules, measuring sticks to evaluate, for example. But we need more education to make informed choices and to keep an open mind. And also we need to look at the full picture, looking at the nutritional table and the service ties. That's why this will be the topic of my next video.